All right, sorry for the delay. I'll call this meeting of the Cromwell Board of Education to order at 7:05. Laura, if you would take roll call, please. Absent. Here.
Here. Here.
I don't believe so. Is anyone here from Town Council? I don't see anyone. And you did mark Kelly Franklin absent, right? Because I forgot to respond. Okay. All right, so we'll move on to approval of our agenda. Are there any additions, deletions? I don't have any. Do you, Dr. Macri? All right, so we'll be celebrating our Teachers of the Year this evening and also looking at our post-graduation plans, approval of some second read policies, and also we have some modifications to our building committee. So we'll be going over that. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
Okay. That was Catherine first, Alan second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. The agenda is approved. So first order of business is public comments. And before I read the rules, is there anyone here that would like to make a public comment? If so, please come on up to the podium. I'll read the rules. Individuals are welcome to address the Board of Education for up to 3 minutes each during the public portion comments of the meeting, but board members will not generally engage in dialogue. The board chair may, at his or her discretion, extend the time for public comments. Speakers must come to the podium and share your name and address. To facilitate efficient sharing of your comments, we encourage you to share any comments you may have about instruction, discipline, or learning materials first with your student's teacher, then principal, and followed by the superintendent before bringing the comments to the Board of Education. However, if you do not believe your comments have been addressed appropriately, or if you believe they should be shared with the Board of Education for any other reason, please feel free to do so. Any complaints or concerns about individual Cromwell Board of Education employees should be directed to the superintendent and the Board of Education in writing rather than in public comments at Board of Education meetings. All comments must not include personal attacks, and comments cannot be discourteous, threatening, vulgar, or otherwise inappropriate. The board chairperson may, at his or her discretion, curtail any public comments or terminate any such individual's privilege of address at any time if they violate any of these rules, violate reasonable standards of decorum, are boisterous, or are repetitious. The Board of Education reserves the right to limit public comments to particular topics. The Board of Education values the well-being of our students and families, and those electing to make public comments at a Cromwell Board of Education meeting are strongly discouraged from sharing identifiable information of their children in such comments, including but not limited to their name, age, learning ability, and are reminded that any comments made during a meeting becomes a permanent matter of public record, and it may be accessible by individuals in the future. As such, any person making public comments is solely responsible for the information they choose to share. We kindly ask that you consider the privacy of your family and your children while making comments. And with all that said, if you would please state your name and address. And can you just turn your mic on? I'm sorry, I don't know if it's on.
Yep, I see the light on. Is that
Okay.
you hear it now?
Just
Thank you.
restart. Glenn Macco, I'm sorry, what was your address?
16 Arrowwood Drive, Cromwell.
Thank you.
For those that don't know me, I'm a 47-year resident of Cromwell, where all of my children have been educated in the Cromwell Public Schools and associated with recreation programs. I served on the Cromwell Board of Education for 5 years, from 1994 to 1999, and I also had a 30-year career in computer software development with major international companies and have been a volunteer professional reporter since November 2023 on topics of terrorism. As a follow-up, I dropped in on the meeting last Tuesday. It went into executive session, so there really wasn't anything there. As a follow-up, I contacted board member Kelly Franklin and indicated to her a concern around student safety. She passed that message along and had Officer Mitchell Brooks call me, and he and I had a 28-minute discussion on Friday. I had hoped to have more discussion with him today, but apparently he wasn't able to get back to me. But the concern here is that I work with a national group and associated with the Department of Defense that has been sounding the alarm of concerns of things that are going on in our country that aren't widely recognized and understood. And that we have a belief that many schools throughout the country, including communities such as Cromwell, could have their schools struck by a terrorist attack. And we strenuously request that a planning task force be gathered to study with our school safety officer and our chief of police to evaluate this threat and to make vigorous plans for steps to reduce the risk of bodily harm and death to our children while they are attending school or traveling to and from the school. The specific area of concern and things that get addressed is something known as the all-hazard plan, as I learned from Officer Mitchell, which gets updated every year and passed through a final approval by the board. The concern that my group has with this is that it's looking back at more typical school attacks like Sandy Brook and Columbine, which typically is being done with people of emotional problems and usually only one or two people. We suspect that what is likely to happen instead, that there will be professional terrorist teams, what often is called cells.
You know, with all due respect, I think I'm going to have to cut you short because I don't want to, alarm our students. There's no threat to our school that we're aware of or anything like that. So I think this is something we might talk about offline. It's not really for public comment.
Let me simply say the scale of the problem has been addressed in those hazard plan for that kind of historic attack. But if one thinks in general of the kind of attack that occurred in Israel, there really is no reason that couldn't come to any community across the United States, including a town of our size. And that's what's happened in the current environment where several million unknowns, what they call gotaways, have been distributed throughout our country.
You have about 15 seconds left to just wrap it up.
So with that, I'm simply alerting people around this concern because it will take community support and interest and even participation. Eyes out. Watch. People that are out and watching their communities, their neighborhoods, to see when things are happening and spot things
All right,
ahead.
thank you very
Just
much for your time and for
last-
your public comment, and I do have your information that you provided to us.
I just wanted to say, a lot of people said, why weren't there a warning
You can-
before
you
9/11?
can-
This is the warning. We're going to have something like 9/11. Thank you.
And just so everyone here knows, he did have a conversation with Officer Mitch, so there's nothing to be alarmed about. So I just wanted to put that out there. But we're open to public comments, so that's what that was. Celebrating our faculty and staff. We have our District Teacher of the Year. I'm sorry, did we have any other public comments? No, okay. Who would like to introduce the District Teacher of the Year? Would that be you, Dr. Macri? Move on to celebrations.
Principals, sure. I would love to call the principals up from the schools to do this with me because it's such a special occasion. Mr. Botwell, that's right, Mrs. Weiskel's here for Miss Tatuno, Mr. Kuckle, and Miss Cochiola. So we have the distinct pleasure every year of our schools, our teachers, staff have the pleasure of nominating Teachers of the Year from every school. And this year, Mrs. Cantwell joined us on the committee. So we interview and we observe, and then we meet and we try to make a really difficult decision. And it's always a difficult decision. And this year, it's especially difficult decision because everyone that I'm going to announce, you will notice, are just phenomenal people. So if you would like to say anything, the administration, on behalf of one of your Teachers of the Year, maybe just one special thing from your class, from your school that you'd like to share about your teacher, that would be great.
Thanks, Dr. Macri. So I would be super excited to just say a few words about our Teacher of the Year, Ashley Gurton. Ashley is a wonderful and patient teacher. For me, it's been very special to see Ashley, because when I first came to Woodside, within my first year or two, she was a student teacher within our building. And then we hired her, and it's been wonderful to see her grow and develop over the last, I'm going to guess, Ashley, like about 10 years or so. And so I am not surprised at all that that young teacher I saw as a student teacher 10 years ago has now been recognized as our Teacher of the Year. She is absolutely wonderful, and she certainly deserves it.
So at Cromwell High School, we had Tracy Randazzo, and really there's so much to say about Mrs. Randazzo and everything that she has done at Cromwell High School for our students. She teaches calculus, the alphabet soup, B, C, A, B. There's a little bit of everything there. Very high level, very demanding, and she is able to get our students to such a high level of mastery in her classes. And walking in and watching her teach is an absolute joy. And many times I'll just be walking the halls and I'll see something engaging happening, and I will pop into that class because of what Tracy is doing. And as a staff member too, she is just everywhere. She is so present in our students' lives, not just the 7:45 to 2:25, but she makes it a point to go to all the extracurriculars and activities to support our students. She's just simply a wonderful teacher, and we are so very proud of her. And something a little extra special, she is a Cromwell High School grad as well. So it's nice that we've kept her here, and she came back here to finish her teaching career, because she's not going anywhere. And we are very happy, and we are congratulating Tracy Randazzo.
Good evening, everyone. I am the proud principal to acknowledge Amy Valerio, who teaches 6th grade language arts at Cromwell Middle School. Amy, you're not here, right? I'm looking for you. Okay. An amazing language arts teacher. Couldn't be more impressed and proud of her as an educator. She is amazing how she gets our kids in, transitions them in from 5th to 6th, and they just grow incredibly. She was nominated by her students, and as a former teacher, I think there's no other honor than to be nominated by your very own your own students as Teacher of the Year. So wow, talk about really validating why you went into the profession. Amy isn't here, but I have to say, Amy, I get to school pretty early. I get to school probably around 6:40, 6:45, and Amy beats me in by a good 15, 20 minutes. And she's there every morning working diligently, and the lessons that she produces for our students are bar none. So I congratulate her. She's not here this evening, and I couldn't be more proud of her as a staff member. Thank you.
Just because it's the last week. And I'm going to stand here just because it's easier. As you can see, unbelievable. 3 teachers who are just amazing and so incredibly committed to our students and our community. And I am delighted to talk to you a little bit about this amazing 2nd grade teacher, Miss Mataskavich. She truly loves her students and the profession. She is on many committees in the district, but the most important thing about her is that she'll stop at nothing to ensure that her students get what they need each day, which is love. It is evident that teaching is embedded in her very being of who she is as a person. I simply cannot tell you how often I receive compliments from students and families about how special Mrs. Mataskavich is and how special she makes her students feel. If you walk into her classroom or have one conversation with her, you will instantly notice that she embodies all the qualities students and adults admire in a teacher. Mrs. Mataskavich knows each and every one of her students and takes the extra time to ensure she is educating the whole child. She wants to make sure that every child feels like they will be successful in life and that they are capable learners. And most importantly, that they are valued members of her classroom and the school community. It is my distinct honor to work with Mrs. Christina Mataskevich, and to proudly introduce her to you and to us and the whole world as the Cromwell Public Schools 2024 Teacher of the Year. Please join me in congratulating this passionate, devoted, and compassionate teacher.
I have such a huge itinerary in the next year of all the speeches and things I need to give. I didn't prepare anything. But I just want to say that this is for my kids. It's all about them. It's what they teach me. Okay, so thank you all. Love you.
Congratulations to all of our Teachers of the Year. You're all wonderful. My children have had many of you. And I can attest to that, and all they've learned through you. And I hear great things about Miss Mataskevich. Unfortunately, we escaped you on that one, but and good luck with all your upcoming speeches. All right, so from there we'll move on to celebrating our students. Dr. Macri.
Okay, it's time to say thank you to Julia for spending 2 years with us on the Board of Education. I'm sure you learned a lot. We're going to miss you, and we wish you the very best at UConn. You are going in for a double major, political science and economics. Well, maybe you can come back and help us with our budget. But congratulations too, and we'll miss you. We have a little present for you too.
Thank you for being at all of our meetings. You've been here, I mean, I can't even remember a meeting where you weren't here. So thank you for all of your dedication, and I wish you the best at UConn. I'm sure you're going to go far. All right, we'll move on to reports of liaisons from the Town Council, which we do not have anyone here. Board of Finance, don't see anyone. And Cromwell Building Committee, we do have a report that was enclosed. Yep, she is here. Did you want to come up now, Roseanne, or after when we do the action items, though? We have the action items later in the agenda. But you do have a report in your packet. Hopefully you had a chance to look over it because it does explain what we're doing tonight. Okay, so we'll move on to report of our student representatives. For the last time, would you like to start?
Cromwell High School hosted the annual Senior Night Awards ceremony where students were presented with cords and scholarships. We participated in our 3rd ever field day this year, and everyone had a wonderful time. Showcase and Assessment Week has begun for seniors and starts for the other grade levels on Thursday. Student Council held elections and announced the class officers for the next school year, and graduation will take place on June 10th at 6 p.m. The senior class also had our senior prank today, and that was very successful, our slip and slide. Very fun.
Sounds fun. Everybody's okay?
Including the principal who did it.
Props to you. Go ahead, Summer.
For sports, as the school year comes to an end, the spring sports have completed. All sports have come to an end, and some successes of the season included softball made it to the first round of both Shorelines and States. Boys and girls track participated in Shorelines and States recently. Congratulations to the boys 4x800 in winning States. And a final congratulations and good luck to all seniors whose high school sports careers have officially come to an end.
Thank you. Any questions?
Summer, are you aware of the tennis players?
As I was reading this, I was like, I should have mentioned all the tennis.
I
Yes.
think we need to recognize him. He did
Sharon, is that what you're referencing mostly? Yeah.
He
I know
won.
Sharon, he is second-time Shoreline champion.
Yeah.
So that's a big
And
thing.
Dylan Rozek also
Oh, yeah.
won
I don't
an
do
award
much
for
with
golf.
Yeah. I don't know too much about that
There's
one.
a lot of
but-
spring sports.
So much to keep up with.
Yeah.
Got to read it in the newsletter, Mr. Kuckel's newsletter. It's the only way. All right, and we'll move on to the middle school.
Grade 8 field trip will visit High Meadow for their picnic tomorrow, thanks to the organizational efforts of Mrs. Hartman. Grade 6 students will visit Quasti Amusement Park on June 6th, thanks to Ms. Arnowski and the 6th grade teachers with CMS PTO. The baseball team, led by Tyler Roberts at the plate and Luke Saponaire on the mound, persevered through injuries and improved during a difficult season. The softball team had a good season under Mr. Penny, earning a 6-4 record behind Carolyn Sarnowski's strong pitching. The CMS track team had a great season, which concluded with sending a school record of 30 athletes to the state meet in Manchester on Memorial Day weekend. Ayana Bennett placed first in the state while setting a new CMS record for the 100-meter dash. The girls' 4x100-meter team placed 6th. Yearbooks will be distributed this Friday, June 7th, thanks to the efforts from Yearbook Club. The CMS shoe crew, under Mr. Daglieri, is now taking the final shoe donations of the school year.
All right, thank you. Any questions? Okay. We'll thank all the student reps, and you don't have to stay for the whole meeting, as you know, but we have enjoyed having you here this year, and we look forward to seeing you next year if you're continuing. From here, we go on to, sorry? Oh, are we introducing our new rep? Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Our new junior Board of Education representative is Marcel. He'll be here next year doing the sports.
Oh, great. Well, welcome.
Welcome.
So excited.
All right, now we'll move on to the town collaboration updates. We have a meeting on June 18th to go over our 5-year plan for facilities. Other than that, do you have anything you want to update the board with?
I did speak with Town Manager Salvatore today, a little bit about the plan that was not approved through planning and zoning. And Ms. Maher may know a little bit more than I know, but we are going to try and come up with a different plan as far as the track and the fields, is my understanding. But that's really all I know, and I just learned about it today. So more information coming when I get the response, more of the information.
And from what I know, I agree, and I think that the next way forward is through this tri-committee meeting, is what I'm hearing. So we'll move on to our superintendent updates and responses to Board of Ed comments and action items from our prior meeting.
Okay, great. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is class size. So keeping a very close eye on class size all the time, especially at the elementary school, and Dr. McLean keeps a close eye at the secondary schools. These beautiful sheets that Mr. Botwell made, and he's going to be joining us on our data team, which is awesome. So I'm really happy to have him coming over in a few weeks. Grade 3, grade 4, and grade 5. We had a little opportunity when we were trying to cut our budget, a window of opportunity to only have 6 classrooms in grade 5. It worked to the best of its ability. We don't want to have large classrooms, but we did what we had to do for budget purposes. This year, I thought we were going to be able to when we were putting the budget together in October, November. We've had increased enrollment, especially in grade 4. So we tried to play with the numbers as best as we can, and WIS is working really, really hard. The teachers are trying to put in strategies that it's not just about increasing test scores, but really helping our children be emotionally, not be emotionally fragile. And that's where a lot of our students are right now. So it is impossible to teach 26, 27 students at once. So we need another teacher at WIS, and we did not budget for it. So I was coming to you tonight to talk to you about how we were going to make this happen, and then suddenly yesterday, my wonderful faith that I have, I received a letter from the State Department, and I sent it to Mr. Botwell, and I sent it to Mr. Shettle, and they did not increase magnet tuition, and it's staying at 58%, which gives me just enough money to hire another teacher, and it just happened yesterday. So I am so thankful. So just with your permission, using that money to hire another teacher for Woodside so that they can have decent class sizes. Okay? I know, very excited. We've been thinking about it for a long time, and Mr. Botwell definitely did not let me forget. Weekly, I said, I know, Mr. Botwell. And yesterday was just a gift, so you guys will have the extra teacher. Thank God. Not the extra, the one you need. So that's my first update, and I'm just so grateful for that. And then I would like to celebrate Mr. Butwell, and he doesn't like attention, but we're going to give him a little anyway. Mr. Butwell has been at WIS for 12 years, and he has just created such an environment of trust and kindness, and the way he speaks to all the children and the staff and the parents, even when it could get a little frustrating, is just, I can learn a lot from him, and I'm going to. And I just want to say thank you, too, for your commitment to Woodside and for all the lives of the children that you've touched. Every kid loves you, and I know they're going to miss you, and I know the teachers are going to miss you, and the staff is going to miss you. But I am so excited to have you. But I just want to take a minute to celebrate you and say thank you. I feel so sad that they're sad and I'm so happy. It's bittersweet.
Change is hard.
It is.
But hopefully it'll be good.
You're welcome. And then just the end of the year festivities. That's what we're in the trenches. Our staff, our administration, our teachers are just working their tail off to make sure that our students enjoy the end of the year. And yes, today was senior prank day, and I was sick to my stomach until I talked to Mr. Cockle, who then told me he went down the water slide as well. And then I said, you hopefully have all of your bones connected. And he said, I do. And I said, good, because I need a few to break when I see you. But it was a great day, I heard. Good. So ending the year festivities, if you guys want to share with anything, if the kids, the students, anything, I think you did, shared everything that you've been doing. There's a lot that's been planned for them. So if there's anything that you want to share that's special, go ahead. You're good? Okay.
Julia was pausing.
Yeah, Julia.
You looked like you were hesitating. Oh, nice. Is that after school?
Yeah, it's after school.
Okay.
Good.
Very nice.
That's much safer. Okay. That is all that I have for an update.
All right. Any questions from board members? No? All right. Presentations and reports of administration, the 2023-2024 budget update, reference B in your packets. And Mr. Shettle, if you'd like to come on up in case there are any questions.
Cool. I like that. Hello, good evening. First, I just want to start off by saying to the Board of Ed and to Dr. Macri, thanking you for allowing me to do the interim here. It's been a pleasure. Somebody coming from the outside looking in, my comment is I think you have a very fine system. You have people here that just don't sit every day and say, we have a good system. From what I can observe, people are trying to move this district forward each and every day. It's something I can't say about all school systems, to be perfectly honest with you, but I've seen that here. So, in my opinion, you should be proud of what you have and where you're going. So, thank you for the opportunity. But I have a little smile on my face tonight because you can see in your projections, it's even though it's a meager $8,400, it's still on the plus side for the budget right now. As I reported last month, operations facility was taking a very close look at electrical and natural gas usage, and because of looking at historical perspective, we were able to basically reduce the encumbrance by approximately $55,000, looking at the data for the rest of the year at this point in time, which obviously contributed to right now being on the. There's only, I don't expect any special education extra costs coming through in the next 5 days that I'm aware of, hopefully, and so I think we're in a good position right now to finish the year off on a positive note, and so obviously we'll be looking at that for the next 3 or 4 weeks, day by day. The business office staff is looking at outstanding purchase orders and encumbrances to make sure what we have and what we can basically disencumber and see what we're looking for the rest of the year. So it's nice to be up here. I think it might have been the first or second time since I've been here that I've said, okay, looks like we're going to be okay. So,
Any questions for Mr. Shuttle? Of course. Anything?
Since October, so we'll take it.
Matt?
How are we looking on people paying off their lunch bills?
That's not his department, is it?
It's not in the budget.
Honestly,
Oh, it is.
not that good, to be honest. So
No change?
we're again every week. Director of Food Service sends out emails to all parents that we have to say, here's your balance. As you know, we can't do much about that other than sending out some bills. One of my strategies still might be to send a personal letter from me saying, here's your balance for the rest of the year. The interesting fact is, even though we can't collect necessarily this year's balance, I mean, what can happen, and again, you're probably not going to get the funds next year if we didn't receive them this year, but those balances can be carried forward. We have to wipe out what is owed to the food service department, so we do have to pay that off, but we don't have to necessarily wipe off the debt from the students, from what I've just read recently. So again, I'm not sure that's really going to be meaningful to you in the upcoming year, other than, at least somehow, and it goes, as we've said, Dr. Macri and I have said, it's not only on the state level, it's on the federal level. So we have to follow the federal regulations that say, food service can't pay for this, even though a lot of food service right now do have surpluses in their account. We have a surplus, but we can't use that money to pay off these debts of students. So it really is a catch-22 because all philosophies are, we want to feed the kids. Nobody should go hungry. And next year, again, I'm looking into a crystal ball, it could be even higher because the state is no longer going to pay for breakfast. So breakfast will not be free next year as it is this year. So they
For
could
all
rise.
students, or just, obviously, ones that receive free and reduced lunch would be free, right?
Right, I just meant
Yeah.
it's free right now for all students.
Right, okay.
Yep.
All right, any other questions? All right, and thank you for everything. I assume this might be your last meeting with
Yes,
us,
I
so
think
thank
so.
you for all you've done for us to carry us
You're
over. In the meantime, we really appreciate it.
Same thing. Thank you, Gary, for everything. Today was the only day you gave me good news. We worked hard to get there, though.
All right, new business, item A, class of 2024, post-graduation plans, reference C. And Mr. Kuckel, did you want to come on up and explain? Not that there's much to explain. You gave us a presentation. It's very
Yep.
similar to most years.
It is.
One
It
thing I
is.
noticed was a little different. The more have gone to employment, just
Yes.
slightly, but the rest looked pretty much status quo.
Correct. Some of the gap year, right, where students aren't quite sure they're going to go work, and then some of the employments are students who are pursuing a career in something that they want to do, and they've gotten and lined up a job for that. But it is a higher number than we have seen in years past.
Mm.
Yeah.
Anything else you noticed trend-wise?
Other than that, no. We still have, in terms of UConn, obviously a big draw for our students. A lot of students got accepted there. A higher increase this year in terms of getting accepted to the Hartford branch versus the main branch. And that's a result, I'm sure we've all watched the news, that's a result of about 60,000 applications for, I believe it's 4,000 spots, right? So there's been a domino effect there with them winning national championships for basketball. It's been very helpful for the state, but it's made it more competitive and more challenging for our students to get into that branch. So that's something that we did notice this year as well, seeing more students get enrolled into the Harvard branch.
But overall, the number, I went back to just last year, I noticed the number was a little higher
Oh, yeah.
than last year, even
Yep.
though we have less students this year. So
Absolutely.
It's good news.
Yeah, strong. And where they're going to when you look at the list, it's an exceptional list in terms of, you see a Clemson on there, Harvard, some Penn State 3, some
Yep.
elite, a lot of elite colleges that our students are getting into. So they're doing a very good job here. They're diversifying their resumes, and our school counseling staff's working with them diligently to get them where they want to be.
I
So,
agree.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Nothing. All right. This is one of my favorite nights of the year. We have no comments or questions? All right. We'll move on, I guess. It's so exciting to see where everyone's going. There's so many students that are just going off on their own, too. You see one, all down the list. It's not like there's big clusters of them. So anyways, good luck to them all. Possible action, Cromwell Middle School auditorium name discussion. Dr. Macri, would you like to give some background?
So my understanding, one of the questions when I came to Cromwell for the interview was, how are you going to keep the arts alive and well and grow them? And that question came so passionately from Michael Camilleri, who was the board chair. And his passion for the arts was so strong. And I think he spent most of his time advocating to continue to grow it in this town, and he has. And I just one day said to Selena, I think it would be really nice if we named the auditorium at the new middle school the Michael Camilleri Auditorium. And so I spoke with his wife and daughter, and they were thrilled, and it's extra special because Megan Camilleri happens to be the music teacher at the middle school. So she will get to actually have concerts in that room that it will be named after her dad. And so I'm asking for that permission to go ahead and do that, for the building committee to do that.
I love that idea. And in addition to all of that, he also really advocated for a new building in general.
He did.
Back in the day, it was ECS, then it went back to the Cromwell Middle School, then COVID happened. So he has been an advocate and a volunteer for everything. He's really done so much for the district. So I think this is a really lovely dedication, and it would mean a lot to his family and to all of us who knew him. So are there any questions or comments? Concerns? No? Okay. All right. Well, is there a motion? By Matt, second by Kelly Cloutier, in favor of naming it the Cromwell Middle School, the new Cromwell Middle School auditorium. We're doing the Michael
Michael,
Camilleri,
I
or
think
just
so. Yeah, Michael.
Okay, Michael Camilleri Auditorium. All right. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. It's very nice.
Okay, action item C, authorize the repurposing of the Cromwell Middle School Library Media Center space with the intent of revising the ed specs with the modifications at a future date. I know it's a very confusing action, but Dr. Macri is going to explain, and it's also in your packet, the original plan, and also we have Rosanna Glenn here who can explain further.
Yes. So Rosanna, obviously this is her full-time job, and then she works part-time, has done a tremendous job. And it's hard to see everything in play until you actually start planning very deeply for it. So there are some things that we'd like to change, and I need to be specific in how we change it. So the first thing is we need the Board of Education to authorize the repurposing of the CMS library media space with the intent of revising the ed specs with modifications to include, and I'm just going to run down some of the modifications. We're going to change the flooring to be VCT, vinyl plank, not carpet. Make the whiteboard teaching wall all mobile, portable. Remove the small group workroom in the media center. So there's a small workroom in there. We just want to take down the walls and make it one big space. Lounge tables and table arms, comfortable seating, flexible seating, seating for about 30 students, hopefully. Just a staff computer, some front circulation in a smaller area, no media specialist office, and some project shelving that also is very flexible that can be moved around. So we just need for the Board of Education to say, yes, in the future, we could modify the ed specs with this.
Rosanna, come on up to the
I have
podium,
two.
why don't you?
I have the sign as the second one, but add in whatever you think, Ro.
Just need to make sure, clarify that we don't need any millwork, like any built-in cabinetry, like no circulation. You said circulation table, but you don't mean circulation table, right?
No, it's going to be a little desk.
Like a mobile
that's
desk?
probably portable, yeah.
Okay. All
No millwork. What, do we need to say anything else, do you think?
No, just that you want the mobile, like don't call it, if you call it the circulation desk, I think they think that's like millwork, like actually built in.
Okay, mobile,
Right, Claudio?
circulation desk.
Yes, the conversation has, original design had a long L-shaped circulation desk. Now with the elimination of that small classroom, we moved the circulation desk up closer to the door, and it's gonna be a very small, like 4 by 4. Now we can make it fixed or we can make it mobile, but.
Well,
overall
if it,
won't
there's a
make
difference between fixed and mobile. Like if you want a mobile, that's one thing. If it's fixed, then that's something separate. So just need
clear
clar-
that up, but
I think you want mobile. I think you want to be able to move the desk around, right?
we still have books in the library, there'll be a section in that library with all the books, so we still need a small circulation desk. But from a functionality standpoint, it could be a desk, it could be an L-shaped fix. We wanna run some power into it, so it's gonna be up near the wall.
Claudia, why don't you just come to Kelly's spot for now, just in case we need you on the mic? Or, yeah, Summer's spot.
So Rosanna, I think just a small, we're talking about just a small area that can be used for circulation.
Like when when students go into the room, do you want there to be something right there that's permanent that has power to it that they can take books in and out of?
Yes. But we also may have something that's portable
So you can have both.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can have both.
yeah. Just in case it ever changes again, I want to be ready for that. I don't want to put something in that,
Yeah.
and then we, need
That's-
to modify. I think
so-
a smaller, very small station. But then if we need to do it mobile, we could do both.
Because you mentioned a teacher's desk, right? That you'd probably want more center to the room, is my guess?
Yes, just furniture that's, yeah,
That'd be
like
just
the
part of
rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
So should I put both in there?
so I just need you to make, I would put both, but just
Okay.
make sure that circulation desk, just be specific if that's going to be permanent, like
Right.
millwork permanent, or if it's just gonna be like a desk you can eventually move if you need to.
So it would be a small circulation desk in the front that would be permanent.
You want a permanent one? Okay. So that's millwork.
Okay.
That has to be in the motion for tonight?
I
Those
just need-
specifics?
No, I just
No.
need to, I need to clarify so that we can
Okay.
go back to Perkins.
And I'll give this to
There's
you.
been a complete reduction of of work in there
Yeah.
compared to the original design. The elimination of a door, elimination of walls, a smart board, electrical, all associated with that small group instructional. The furniture that was in that small group instructional. Now the vision of it is more like a library by having bookshelves and shelves for projects and seating area for student. So
You're gonna
it
want a
makes the
mobile
space.
You want a
more-
mobile smart board, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Portable instead of wall mounted. It's designed with a wall mounted fix instead of that to increase the flexibility and use of the space rather than have a portable.
Yeah, all mobile and portable.
Makes sense to me.
Sorry, I didn't pick up that sooner.
Can we take some questions, or do you have other things you want to talk to Rosanna about first with those?
No, this is
Okay.
the only one, and we have one other one.
Yep. Okay, questions. Matt?
Two questions. Where a lot of time and energy, especially by you, Rosanna, and your team has been put into this design from the get-go. What's the motivation for this change? Where is it coming from? That's the first question. And the second question is this going to increase cost, reduce cost, or no change?
As far as costs, we're not sure yet. This nicely. There's some issues we're working out with our architect. It
And
was-
actually, the third question was, sorry, this was the other one that was in the back of my mind, and I can't believe I forgot. The library media specialists, are they on board with this change as well?
So they're the one who drove the change initially. So
Okay.
Perkins and and Claudio and the subcommittee met with all of the staff to see what kind of FD they want.
Rosanna, can you talk more into the mic?
I am so sorry.
It's okay.
And during those conversations, that's when the STEM teacher said, "Oh, we need something completely different than what you have here." And again, I think it's early enough in the project where it should be okay. If we were adding things like adding more electrical, adding plumbing, things like that, that's where the cost would really come in, because now we have to like bring in. They're laying down all of the foundations right now, so that would have to be a decision that had to be made like last week. But because we're removing stuff, it actually makes it a little bit easier.
And these are all part of the design subcommittee. When you meet, these are the things that you're finding out, and this is the process.
The
we need to take.
FF&E subcommittee,
Yeah,
so
okay.
Claudio's chairing that committee, so he would be part of that.
So it came from the library media specialists,
Yeah.
right? That with them saying, and STEM teachers saying, we need this to be a little bit more flexible.
Yeah, and I
space.
think the disconnect came because when we spoke to the librarian last year, I think it was a different person, possibly, like last June or whatever. I don't know when the new STEM teacher was.
But we don't know the effect on cost, either up or down or neutral.
It should be, it's not gonna be crazy. I mean, like Claudia said, the amount of material we're gonna save, we don't have all that sheetrock and all this stuff we have to put in, so.
The expectation, if I may, the expectation is that there'll be a reduction in cost. There is some redesign cost. Part of it is air conditioning has to be redesigned because there was a unit that just working in that one room. Now they have to configure it for one large space. Electrical. Before there was a switch just for that one room. Now those lights have to be incorporated with the rest of the space. But there's quite a bit of credit coming back based on the fixtures, the walls, the smaller circulation desk that we'll get back in return.
So
For this
hopefully a wash,
particular-
but we don't really know
Yeah,
at
this
this point.
particular change, I think you're probably gonna save money, but there's like 15 to 20 other design changes they have to incorporate based on the conversations that we're being told they're gonna charge us for because
All
they're-
within the LMC?
No.
No.
Okay.
We're not adding anything to the library. If anything, we're removing.
We're adding like a sink to the robotics room, for
Yeah,
example.
but
That's
not
what-
to the library.
No, it's everything all across the whole building, all these little changes, they're just all
You
adding
sound like
up.
just minor accommodations and
Like last
um,
sketches and stuff, but.
yeah, last
for
minute
it's-
things. Alicia had her hand up first, and then Catherine.
Just a quick question on process, because this is, you guys are the experts, this is a lot of detail. Is it possible for us to empower certain changes to be made by administration in the plan, or do they all, just seems like a lot of work for you to come back at this level of detail to get our approval, and you've been in the trenches looking at the design, so
I
I
think
just
it's
didn't
all
know.
required. That's why we're
it's a-
here tonight. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if I can add, it's because there's the educational specification, there are requirements for the building, and that's what the state will look at. So this motion today would be saying, so, some background, we can really only go back to the state like one more time with ed spec changes, so we don't want to keep going every time there's a change. So we're collecting all these changes, and like last year there was a change with the auditorium, that's not even, the state doesn't even have that technically right now. So we're collecting all these changes, and then at the end of the project, when we submit our final paperwork, then you're gonna vote on all the changes all at once to be official in the ed spec, and then we'll bring the ed spec to the state. They're aware of the changes they're making, and they understand we're gonna give them the ed spec at the end, so it's not like they're gonna be surprised by any of this stuff, but instead of having to keep going back to them with, there's like paperwork involved every time you submit the ed spec again.
All right, Catherine.
So just to summarize, you want to change the floor from carpet to the laminate. You want to remove the office for the library media specialist, and you want to remove the small room. You want to add in the small circulation desk at the front and also have more of a mobile station. Did I capture all of it, or is there a piece I'm missing?
There's no office, right? It's just
It
a
has a
meeting
list
room.
in front of it.
I thought you
Shows it
said
right here.
something about an office being removed. Just the,
No media specialist office,
yeah, that's,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, so you're removing the office, I said, yeah. And then, wasn't there a small group room that they were using, that they had set up, that we're removing that too? Yeah, okay, so I was right.
One big space.
Good memory.
And a portable whiteboard. Okay. There was a lot of back and forth, I just want to be clear on what we're approving.
All right, any other discussion or questions on that? All right, is there a motion? And I can read all the changes if you'd like, what it includes. Is there a motion to authorize the repurposing of the Cromwell Middle School library media space with the intention of revising the ed specs with, what's that say?
Modifications to include.
Modifications to include the following: change flooring to VCT, not carpet. Make whiteboard teaching wall all mobile, portable. Remove the small group workroom in the media center and make the room one large room. Remove interior walls from the small group room. Lounge tables with tablet arms, comfortable seating. Is that part of it too? Seating for 30 students, 5 tables of 6, a staff computer, front circulation center, a small area. What is this here? Do I need that?
We'll have both. So one that's mobile and one that's not.
Okay, so we'll have both. And no media specialist office, that would be removed, and student project shelving. Is there a motion? By Alan. Is there a second? By Alicia. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you. And also from the building committee, we have a second item. It's an action item, the approval of a dynamic data sign in front of Cromwell Middle School. So currently, as background, there was no plan for a sign. I believe the intention was to reuse the old sign. And so they're looking to put a new digitized sign in front of Cromwell Middle School. And do you have information on what we're looking to do?
Yep. So I just need you to authorize the front school sign. We want to update it to a sign, the sign from a fixed sign to an one with an electronic element. We have 12 square feet in here. It's about 90 by 72 total, 40 by 72, with carved lettering and painting. It pretty much mimics the sign that has been approved by Planning and Zoning at the Cromwell Fire District. So it's going to look similar to this, as similar as we can. Planning and Zoning approved this, so they are telling us that it won't be a problem if we stick to this. So we said we will.
Any questions?
And just so
Or
the
anything you
committee
wanna add?
knows, we already have in our plan to put data and electricity out that way. So
Okay.
that's already
So the
been
cost is just
changed.
the actual sign itself?
Yeah, installing the sign and everything, yeah.
Mhm.
It's probably gonna be upwards around 10 grand.
Okay. It would cost us to move the sign that's there anyway, correct?
I'm sorry?
Would we have to pay a cost to
my
move the
God.
sign that's there?
It'll break.
We can't use that sign.
That sign's terrible. We can't use that sign for a beautiful new middle school. It's archaic, and I'm trying to look at a positive here, add more to it. Oh, it's
I
a
see where
net
you're going.
cost minus the, cost of changing the old sign, okay.
Anything you want to add? Are you good?
We just don't know the full cost of the sign
Right.
yet. We just know they start at 10,000, so.
Okay. Any questions? Is there a motion to approve a dynamic data sign in front of Cromwell Middle School according to the specs that Dr. Macri provided?
Motion.
By Catherine, second. Anyone want to second it? Kelly Cloutier, all in favor? Opposed, abstentions, motion carries. The sign is approved. Did you not? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh. So that's a yay? Okay. Thank you, Rosanna. Anything else?
I just realized that
Mhm.
we have 2 omissions from the report that I probably want to bring up real quick.
Sure, parking.
Claudio is now officially, or
Oh,
going to be
yes.
officially on the building committee.
Mhm.
So the state passed a new law that's going to be effective.
Speaking to the mic, please.
Sorry, I keep doing that. The state passed a new policy that's going to be effective July 1st. That says every school building committee has to have a designee from the Board of Education. Doesn't have to be a member of the Board of Education, but has to be someone from the Board of Education. Claudio's already on the building committee for the most part. he's one of us already, so it was like a no-brainer. And he's already chairing our subcommittee, so I can't imagine anyone more appropriate for that position anyways. So we like working with Claudio. We've adopted him. And the other thing was just with the finance report, utilities. I'm not sure if we reported this, but the state approved our use of the solar panels on our building. So that's going to be a huge cost savings for utilities for the new school, because obviously it's going to be air conditioned and everything. So
Great.
that's really good news for us.
Okay. Thank you. And Claudio will become official at the next town council meeting. Mr. Mayor Demetriadis has to approve that, and then we'll be good to go. So thank you for doing that for us. Thank you, Rosanna. All right, from here we'll move on to the educator evaluation plan. And for that, Dr. Carrie McLean, if you'd like to come on up and walk us through it or explain it.
Okay, so like I've mentioned at other meetings, we were charged this year with developing a new teacher evaluation plan. We developed a committee, and we have worked diligently all year to produce the plan. The plan follows the state plan. Both the leadership and the educator plan follow the state plan. We've incorporated not only all of the must-haves, but also the best practice that the state recommended. It was actually a really wonderful process working with the committee. We were all pretty like-minded in that, we were positive about the changes the state was making, and really putting emphasis on the things that matter: feedback, continuous growth, educator agency, all of those things. So I think we've come up with a really great plan that allows for all of that.
Any questions, Catherine?
Who was on your committee?
Our
It's
PETA
listed.
committee?
I think it's listed. I saw names on, yep.
Yep, it's on the, it should be on the first page, but I don't.
Jumped into the actual plan piece when I was reading it.
Yep, it's me and Amy Arnista, Julie Shepard, Sarah Leary, Lee Newman, Brian Calhoun, Julia Carroll, Kelly Logadicio, Holly Goodfellow, and Tara Sturmer. And it was a really great committee, and everybody worked really hard to put this together. I think we're really proud of what we ended up with.
Thank you for all the work that you all did on this. I'm sure it follows everything it needs to. Are there any other questions, comments? All right, is there a motion to approve it? The educator evaluation plan, reference D. Motion. By Alicia, second. Catherine, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. The educator evaluation plan is approved. And then we'll move on to the leader evaluation plan, reference E. With that all like combined in
Exactly the
one?
same, and the
Okay.
leader plan follows the state plan exactly.
Okay. Is there a motion? Alicia, I saw Alan second. Sorry, did you have a question first?
This is the leadership.
Yes.
So I did actually have a question about that, just because I went through it maybe not as thoroughly as I want to, so maybe I missed this. Is there any opportunity for teachers, paraprofessional staff to provide feedback on how they're seeing things going with the leadership?
So in this particular plan, so that was part of the TVAL plan.
Yep.
In this plan, there is no stakeholder survey component to the leadership plan. That's one of the big changes. It's not in the teacher evaluation plan. We used to collect surveys from different places, and there was a portion that was stakeholder.
Like parents,
but since there's
teachers.
no rating, it's really their goals and do they meet their goals.
So how would staff members, underneath leadership, how would they be able to provide
So we
feedback?
still, under legislation, have to provide a climate survey. So we have to provide that regardless.
Okay, I just want to make sure that there's something in place that allows some kind of a voice there.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, so we had Alicia and then Alan seconded. All in favor? Opposed, abstentions, motion carries.
I've been informed by Alan I'm down to 2 questions.
Thank you, Alan.
Thanks for keeping track. All right, the leader education plan is approved. Next, we'll move on to action item G, the approval of our out-of-state field trips, reference F in your packet, which we just did last month, so I'm assuming the ones in yellow are the new additions. Is that correct? Yes? Okay. And New Hampshire, that's not an overnight, that's just a day trip. Must be not too far. Are there any questions on those? And who would we address those to? It's middle school, right? So, any questions? No? Would anyone like to approve them?
Motion.
Catherine, second by Steve. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Out-of-state field trips are approved. All right, item H, action, approval of minutes and motions from our May 14th regular meeting, reference G. Is there a motion to approve those? Matt, second. Alan, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Catherine will abstain. Okay. And then approval of minutes and motions from our May 29th regular meeting, reference H. Is there a motion?
That was a special meeting.
Oh, we'll have to amend that then, huh? All right. Can you note that it was a special meeting, not regular? All right. Is there a motion to approve the special meeting minutes by Matt? Second. Alan, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
I'm abstaining.
2 abstentions. Kelly Cloutier and Catherine Ross. Yep. All right. And we'll move on to our stipend approvals, 2024-2025, reference I in your packets. Any questions on those? Is there a motion to approve them?
Motion.
Catherine, second. Kelly Cloutier, and all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. You're going to abstain? All right. Motion carries. The stipends are approved. Informational, we have the Human Resources Personnel Activity, reference J in your packets. Any questions for Mr. Morrow? Okay, moving on to principal reports. Any questions there? Okay, then we have some second read policies. We have A through M. Are there any questions on any of those policies? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve policies A through M? Anyone? Kelly, is there a second? Catherine, thank you. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Policies are approved. We have none on for first read. Board committee reports. I know policy met tonight. I think there were only a couple of items on that agenda. Do you have anything?
Repealed quite a few.
Okay.
Because they're already. Sorry, we repealed quite a few because they were already included in ones that we've gone through and approved. So we needed to repeal them so there was no confusion. But we just had 2 other policies that will move to the board next meeting.
Great.
And the next meeting we have is actually a special meeting on June 18th.
You have a policy meeting ahead of the special meeting, you're saying?
No, I'm just saying
Oh,
it's a special
okay.
meeting, so we wouldn't have it there, correct?
No.
Right.
Unless we needed to.
No.
No, okay. All right, in facilities, it looks like these are just our minutes from our last meeting. All right, so topics for future agendas. Anything there? All right, we'll go around and have any comments and updates for the end of the year. We'll start on this side this time, Matt.
Sure. As we're winding down the year, I'd love to hear all the activities happening at all the schools. I know that both of my children are coming home very happy, and as much as they are looking forward to the end of the year, and they won't necessarily express it openly, I can tell that they're already kind of gearing up to miss their teachers and their peers over the summer. So lots of excitement at the end of the year. I think overall it's been a great year, and thanks everyone for all your efforts.
I agree. Thank you. Alan, anything? Dr. Macri, anything you want to add? All right. In addition to everything Matt just said, I wanted to take a moment to just say thank you to our Safe Grad committee because they did so much work this year. I never realized until I had a senior, but they made it happen somehow. And so thanks to Terry Lambert and Fagan and everyone else that was on the committee and ran a fundraiser to make our Safe Grad Quasi Night happen on June 10th.
I just wanted to say congratulations to all our graduates that we're obviously going to recognize on Monday night. And all their future plans look super exciting. And 4 board members, Celine had to remind me there were 4, not 3, have students graduating this year. So some are a little emotional. You might know why, but congratulations to all of them. And that's it.
Thank you. Kelly, nothing? Alicia.
Just a shout out to the CHS members that were involved in the musical production that was last night. The Prisms concert was fantastic. It was the Disney theme, which was so great because we were able to include the Woodside students that performed and got to sit and participate and listen to some really great Disney songs, which it was a full house, which was amazing. So super appreciative. I know that's a lot of work. And a thank you as my daughter's moving towards graduation, just a reflection of the amazing educators that have been. See, that's why we don't do this. I am the emotional one. The amazing educators that have been part of her experience throughout her time in Cromwell Public Schools have left a mark on her that I will forever be grateful for, and have encouraged her to want to be a teacher.
Wow,
And I'm
very
sorry,
nice.
I'm a mess. And Monday's not going to be good.
Thank you, Steve. All right. Thank you, everyone. Meeting's adjourned at 8:10.